Hi. As I think most of you know or could have figured out, Dan and I work on the service on Thursday, and Dan puts it together on Friday or Saturday, but all of our filming is done on Thursday. And it wasn't until just a few minutes ago, it's almost 10 o'clock on Thursday, that I received this letter from our Bishop, John Macholz. And I think it's really important to share it with you now rather than waiting to read it as part of our service next week. So I hope you will just forgive the fact that I'm not in clerics and, you know, it's the end of the day and it's post dog walk, post yoga, all that stuff. But I think it's really important for you to hear the words that Bishop Macholz is sending out. Dear sisters and brothers in Christ, grace to you and peace from the one who makes all things new, Jesus Christ, crucified and risen for the sake of the world. I have a confession to make. I fear that I may be growing numb to the mounting number of deaths of our black and brown sisters and brothers in the streets of cities as well as the quiet of bedrooms. Daniel Prude being the latest. Daniel's death, which happened 6 months ago on the streets of Rochester, New York, and was only revealed yesterday, was ruled a homicide by asphyxiation at the hands of the police. Regarding the numbness, I know in the depths of my very being that to head in that direction only moves me to a position of passivity in this horrifying sequence of killings and makes me complicit in the racism that is infecting the very core of our society and communities. I cannot grow numb. We cannot grow numb. Rather, we must grow in numbers. We must grow in the number of people who speak out against the unending list of lives needlessly and tragically taken. We must grow in the number of individuals who speak up on behalf of those whose voices are being ignored. We must grow in the number of churches whose ministry is involved in fighting this evil and recognized as such in our communities. We must grow in the number of voices raised to say that justice delayed is justice denied. We must grow in the number of those who find ways to support our black and brown sisters and brothers. We must grow in the number of those who, called to preach the gospel and speak out against hatred and racism, do so with courage and conviction. We must grow in the number of people who not only pray for an end to this, but find a way to work toward that end. We must grow in the number of communities of faith that commit to taking on the necessity of the hard conversations around systemic racism in all aspects of our lives. As the prophet Micah questioned, "What does the Lord require of you but to do justice, love kindness, and walk humbly with your God?" Look for God so you can walk with God. You will find God standing next to the black woman on the street who wonders if she will get hit by a stray or intentionally directed rubber bullet while standing there peacefully demonstrating. You will find God holding up the family of George Floyd as they continue to mourn his murder. You'll find God walking beside the family of Breonna Taylor and lifting them up when they fall. You'll find God embedded in the crowds that march down the streets of our cities and towns, crying for peace and an end to violence and racism. You'll find God working on behalf of those who can't afford insurance who have been evicted from their homes due to the loss of work, and with those who work 3 jobs each day to put food on the table and pay bills while barely scraping by in life. We have work to do, people of God. We need to talk about this. We need to confront this head on. We need to say, enough is enough. We need to dig deep and find the stamina and energy and patience to fight the fight that is taking place. It will be a battle. No, it is a battle, but a battle worth waging. Listen to the words that John Lewis left behind for us to hear and, more importantly, to live out. Do not get lost in a sea of despair. Be hopeful. Be optimistic. Our struggle is not the struggle of a day, a week, a month, or a year. It is the struggle of a lifetime. Never, ever be afraid to make some noise and get in good trouble, necessary trouble. I appeal to all of you to get into this great revolution that is sweeping this nation. Get in and stay in the streets of every city, every village, and every hamlet of this nation until true freedom comes, until the revolution of 1776 is complete. Listen as well to the words of the greatest prophet. Whatever you do to the least of these, you have done unto me. This coming Sunday, and in future Sundays at worship, in daily personal prayer, and in prayer groups, while beginning or ending the day, pray. Pray for an end to systemic racism. Pray for the families who have lost loved ones through violent means. Name their names. Pray for courage and for God to use you to be a voice, to offer hope, to find a way forward, and to be the light in the darkness that presently exists. Pray for those in the fight and then join it, knowing that the God who has claimed us goes with us each step of the way. In hope and confidence, John S. Macholz, Bishop of the Upstate New York Synod of the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America. I hope you will take his words to heart.